This is a Tuscan Raider review of Star Wars The Rule of Two. Thank you, Del Rey, for sending me this copy to review. Star Wars Rule of Two was written by New York Times best-selling author Drew Karpyshyn. Now, this is the second book in the Darth Bane trilogy. It takes place during the Old Republic era in the expanded universe canon. Now, this story goes back over 990 years before the events of A New Hope. So that's a long time ago. So, for a summary, Darth Bane has completed his task in dismantling and destroying the Brotherhood of Darkness. Now, the Sith army is done for, and the quest to destroy the Jedi and take control of the galaxy has begun. So Darth Bane has found his apprentice after successfully rebooting the Sith. The Sith Order has been reset to its origins. Now that Bane has an apprentice, the Rule of Two has been reinstated. One has the power, and one craves it. So Darth Bane is on a quest to discover a Sith holocron. He's looking for all the knowledge he can to gain wisdom and to rise up to be the most powerful Sith that he can possibly be. But he requires that knowledge. So in this quest, Bane becomes the host of a strange parasite called Orbalisk, and it feeds on the dark side, and it produces an enzyme that produces strength that increases the flow of the dark side. It's kind of gross. So these hard-shelled parasites, they can't be removed. You can't cut them off. They're stuck there. However, the exoskeleton is pretty tough, so it serves as a body armor. So very gross, but also very useful. So Darth Bane's apprentice, Zannah, was left on the planet Ruusan after the destruction of the Sith. Bane, he begins his research, and he tells her before he leaves, he's like, hey, you need to meet me over on this other world. And she's like, okay. So she's got to figure out how to meet him. So it kind of serves as her first quest as a Sith, as an apprentice. So time moves on. Zannah, she's doing her own adventures. She believes now, hey, I should be a master, and I need to find an apprentice. Well, she keeps doing her thing. She keeps going on adventures. She infiltrates this rebellious cell against the Republic, and in this group, she discovers a Force sensitive who she finds useful and could potentially be her apprentice. This rebel cell attacks a government official who is guarded by the Jedi that we met in the first book, Johan. Okay, Johan eventually discovers that the Sith are actually still in the galaxy because they were thought to have all been dead. Well, Zannah, thanks, you just kind of ruined that. But he will gather other Jedi to meet Bane and Zannah in a clash of lightsabers that is a pretty cool little battle. So let's go ahead and talk about what I thought of this book. I liked it. It was such a great sequel to the first book. I was just as thrilled with this book as I was with Path of Destruction. In this book, we were introduced to a new cast of characters that are just as great as the cast of characters from the first book, which we also get a couple characters from the previous book returning in this one. Bane, he's got some nasty stuff going on with those parasites. It grossed me out, to be honest with you. Bugs aren't my thing, and for him to have all these things on him just reminds me of leeches and ticks. That just, I don't know, ugh. That grossed me out. I could have done without those. It's disturbing. It's disgusting. Drew Karpyshyn is such a good writer. He really understands how to write an excellent character. Not just a character, but excellent characters. He does great with dialogue as well, setting up lore, everything. He's so good. I wish he would make a return and do more Star Wars stuff. They need an author like him. We get to revisit some places that we had been to before in Star Wars. It reminded me of how, George Lucas would say things like, oh, Star Wars is poetry and rhymes. The book it really delivers, When you sit down and you read a book, you want it to pay off in the end. This one does, just like the first one. It's so good. The third book, I can't wait to talk about it. The quotes that Bane has in this book about equality, they're so spot on. His views on certain things are politically incorrect, but they're so accurate, especially like when you compare them to today's society. He's so right about everything that he says. Too bad he's on the dark side. But what he says is actually pretty accurate across the board for everybody. Because I'm going to recommend that you have to pick this book up. You have to pick up the first book, and you have to pick up the second one, and then you're going to have to pick up the third, because they are great. We'll talk about the third book when it's released, probably in the next wave of the Essential Legends Collection, Wave 3. Can't wait for that to happen. So I'm going to go ahead, and of course you're probably going to know what the rating is. A+. It's a brilliant tale of how one character changed the destiny of the Sith and shapes his own apprentice and basically reshapes the galaxy for generations to come. So guys, you need to pick up this book. I said that already, but I'm going to say it again. So I'll say it a third time. Pick it up.